I don't know how much time I have before this gets taken down, so I need to get straight to the point. My best friend is missing. His name was Daniel, though if you search his socials now, you'll find nothing, like he never existed. And the worst part is, I think I know what happened to him. It wasn't drugs or gangs or running away. It was a game he should never have downloaded. I should probably clarify something right now. I know how ridiculous that sounds. Someone vanishing because of a pirated game? If I stumbled across this video, I'd probably roll my eyes too. But please hear me out. This isn't a joke. It's not some urban legend I'm recycling from Reddit. I watched it happen. And if you've ever been tempted to grab a cracked version of a game online, you need to pay attention. Because Daniel did what millions of us have done. He got impatient waiting for a sale, ignored the voice in the back of his head, and typed free crack download into Google. That's it. That was the first domino. The last time I saw him, he looked at me with this expression I'll never forget. Like he wanted to say something, but couldn't find the words. The game was still running on his monitor, even though his PC had already been shut down. The screen glowed faintly, colors flickering in shapes I couldn't make sense of. I keep replaying that moment in my head, wondering what I should have done. Should I have pulled the plug? Should I have told someone? Or maybe I should have just run before the screen looked at me too. Because yeah, if you're thinking screens can't look at you, you'd be right. Except this one did. And once it did, Daniel wasn't Daniel anymore. He just slipped away. If I sound paranoid, that's because I am. I don't even know if uploading this is safe. But I need someone to know the truth. Because if it happened to him, it can happen to anyone. And the thing I haven't told you yet, the thing that keeps me awake at night, is that Daniel left something behind. Something hidden in that game. And I think it's waiting for me next. Before all of this, before the whispers in the code and the empty chair where my best friend used to sit, things were normal. Daniel and I have been friends since middle school. We weren't the cool kids. Not even close. We bonded over games, late-night Discord calls, and an unhealthy amount of Mountain Dew. If you've ever had that one friend who just gets you, the kind you don't have to impress, you'll know what I mean. We'd been through everything together. Midnight releases, LAN parties, that summer when we convinced ourselves we could build a gaming PC out of old parts from the school's IT trash pile. Spoiler. It never booted, but we laughed so hard our stomachs hurt. That's the version of him I keep trying to hold on to. The one who cracked stupid jokes and complained about lag every time he lost. Not whatever he became after downloading that file. I remember the night he first told me about it. It was just another Tuesday. I was half asleep, scrolling memes when my phone buzzed. Discord ping. Bro, I found something insane. I groaned. If it's another cursed TikTok, I'm blocking you. Nah. Better. Free copy of that new horror game we were talking about. Looks legit too. That woke me up. The game had only just released, full price on Steam. We'd both agreed to wait for a sale. But there he was, flexing a cracked download like he'd won the lottery. Man, you're gonna fry your hard drive. I told him, laughing. Enjoy your 30 viruses. He just snorted. Relax. I've been pirating since I was 12. Half my library is cracked. I'm still alive. That was Daniel. Always pushing boundaries, always brushing off risks. If I was cautious, he was reckless. It worked, like two halves of a very dysfunctional brain. Looking back, maybe that's why I didn't push harder. I rolled my eyes, muttered something about malware, and went back to scrolling. It felt like just another one of his dumb experiments. At the time, there was nothing scary about it, but small details nag at me now. The file name he mentioned, something weird with too many underscores and numbers. exe_archive 1999_final. It didn't sound like a game title. He joked it looked like a government file. I laughed with him then. Now it makes my skin crawl. The first time he booted it up, he streamed it to me over Discord. The graphics were off. Too sharp in some places, blurry in others. It looked like an unfinished fan project more than a AAA release. See? Totally works, Daniel said, grinning at the camera like he'd won a prize. I wanted to tease him about wasting his time on knockoff garbage, but something about it made me hesitate. There was a sound playing in the background, like static but layered, almost like voices whispering over each other. Daniel didn't notice. Or maybe he ignored it. At one point, the game's menu glitched and his webcam flickered on, just for a second. His own face flashed in the corner of the screen. I swear I saw his expression change, his smile gone, his eyes hollow. But then it snapped back to normal, and he laughed at a stupid tutorial level. Probably just a bug, he shrugged. Yeah, a bug. I remember ending the call early that night. Told him I was tired, had work in the morning. The truth? Something about that game unsettled me. Not in a jump scare way, but deeper. The way an empty house feels wrong when you walk into it at midnight. I try to forget about it, but over the next few days, Daniel became obsessed. He stopped responding to memes, skipped work, spent every waking hour inside that game. Why did get him on a call? He looked exhausted, pale, like he hadn't slept in days. You need to chill, man, I told him. It's just a game. But he shook his head, eyes fixed on the glowing monitor. No, it's not. There's more to it. Stuff you don't see unless you keep playing. That was the moment I should have taken him seriously. That was when the first cracks appeared. Not just in the game, but in Daniel himself. And yet, I laughed it off. Because what could a pirated game really do? Right? Right? The first time I realized something was seriously wrong with Daniel's pirated game, it wasn't a jump scare. It wasn't blood or gore or anything cheap like that. It was the way it felt. You know how most horror games hit you over the head with loud noises and flashing images? This was different. Subtle. Patient. Like it was studying him. Daniel streamed it for me again a few nights later. He was buzzing with energy, eyes wide, practically glowing despite the dark circles under his eyes. Bro, you have to see this level. It's insane. I sighed, leaning back in my chair. Man, you've been on this thing nonstop. Don't you ever get bored? No, listen. This isn't like any game I've played before. It changes. Every time I log in, it's different. He clicked past the menu, and that same static hum returned, crawling under my skin. The level loaded into a plain suburban street. No ajude, no objectives. Just a quiet neighborhood at dusk. At first, it looked harmless, generic houses, a few parked cars. But then Daniel pointed at one of the windows. Watch this. Inside, the game showed a living room. And on the couch sat a figure that looked familiar. It took me a second to place it. My stomach dropped when I did. Dude, that's me. T. The model wasn't perfect, but it was close enough. My messy hair, my oversized hoodie, the way I slouched while scrolling my phone. I laughed nervously. Okay, wow. Whoever cracked this has way too much time on their hands. Daniel smirked. Told you it was crazy. I tried to brush it off, told myself it was a coincidence. Maybe it scraped my Discord profile pic, mashed it into an NPC. Creepy, but explainable. But then the NPC lifted its head. Its eyes locked directly into the camera, into me, and it smiled. I yanked my headset off so fast it nearly snapped. My heart was pounding, palms slick with sweat. What the hell was that? Daniel just laughed. Relax, man. It's part of the game. It reacts. That's what makes it so good. Reacting is one thing. I shot back, but that thing looked at me. Not the character. Me. He shrugged, unbothered. Yeah, that's what makes it fun. It knows. There was something in his voice I didn't like. Not excitement, not fear. Something heavier, like awe. I told him to quit playing for the night, to uninstall it. He waved me off. You're overthinking. It's just code. Whoever made this was a genius. That's all. I wanted to argue, but I didn't. Because honestly, I couldn't explain it either. Over the next week, things got weirder. He'd send me clips, short recordings of strange events in the game. A mailbox opening on its own, spilling out letters with his name on them. A stray dog in the game that barked in sync with his real one. A character standing perfectly still in the middle of the street, staring until he moved the camera away. Sometimes, the game would crash to desktop. When he opened Task Manager, he swore he saw his own name listed as a process. I tried to laugh with him to treat it like some elaborate ARG. But deep down, unease gnawed at me. The breaking point came one Friday night. I was out with some coworkers when my phone buzzed, Daniel spamming me with screenshots. At first, I ignored them, thinking it was more of his "look how wild this is" nonsense. But then I saw the last one. It was my street. Not a street like mine. My actual street. The cracked pavement, the tilted lamppost at the corner. Even my car parked in the driveway. The timestamp showed it had been taken minutes earlier. I called him immediately. He answered, breathless, muttering, "It's showing me stuff, man. Real stuff. Stuff I'm not supposed to see. Delete it, Daniel. I'm serious. This isn't funny anymore. I can't. Every time I try, it just comes back." It wanted to keep going. His voice cracked on that last word. That's when I realized he wasn't bragging anymore. He was scared. And I should have gone to his place that night. I should have done something. Instead, I told him to sleep it off, that we'd figure it out tomorrow. But there was no tomorrow. Not for Daniel. That was the last normal conversation we ever had. The next few days felt like living inside a slow-motion nightmare. Every time my phone buzzed, I half expected it to be Daniel telling me he'd finally uninstalled the game. Instead, it was always more evidence, more clips, more late-night rants that left me staring at the ceiling long after we hung up. He wasn't the same person anymore. His text got shorter, his tone sharper. Gone was the friend who cracked dumb jokes about bugged NPCs. Now he spoke about the game with the kind of reverence people reserve for religion. "It's not just a game," he told me one night. His webcam showed him lit only by the glow of his monitor. Eyes glassy, skin pale. It's a mirror. It's showing me things I didn't even know about myself." I forced a laugh. "Bro, it's a cracked EXE, not a therapist." He didn't smile. He leaned closer, whispering like someone might overhear. It said my name. Out loud. Not text. A voice. It knows me. I froze. "What do you mean a voice? Like a text-to-speech bug?" He shook his head violently. "No, my mom's voice. It called me using her voice, but she's been dead for years." My stomach twisted. I tried to tell him it was just his brain playing tricks, maybe some audio file spliced in to creep him out. But my words fell hollow. He wasn't listening anyway. His eyes kept darting back to the screen like it was pulling at him. The next day, I found myself Googling like a man possessed. Pirated game, weird behavior. Cracked EXE, virus talks back. Buried deep in old forums and abandoned threads, I found whispers of something called ghost cracks. According to the posts, half rant, half confession, these weren't just games. They were gateways. No one knew who made them. Some said rogue devs. Others claimed government experiments leaked onto torrent sites. The details didn't match, but the endings always did. Missing people, corrupted hard drives, sudden silence from users who had once posted obsessively. I want to send Daniel the links, but I hesitated. He was already too far gone. What if it pushed him deeper instead of pulling him out? That night, he streamed again, uninvited. The game had shifted. No suburban streets now. Instead, the world was a warped collage of places we knew. Our high school hallway, the gas station we used to loiter at, even the interior of my own bedroom. The textures were wrong, stretched, smeared like melting wax, but recognizable. "See what I mean?" He whispered, eyes wide. It's building around us. It's watching. I felt ice crawl on my spine. Dude, you need to quit. Right now. This isn't healthy. He laughed, an ugly, broken sound. You don't get it. It's not showing me this because it hates me. It's because I'm chosen. That word, chosen, echoed in my head long after we ended the call. Over the next week, his messages became erratic. Sometimes he'd go silent for hours, then flood my phone with rambling paragraphs. Sometimes they were coherent, descriptions of levels, NPC dialogue, impossible mechanics. Other times they read like gibberish, fragments of code, mixed with words and languages I didn't recognize. One message still haunts me. The dog barked 3 times at 2:14. Check your window. I laughed it off until I realized my neighbor's dog really had barked at exactly 2:14 a.m. I glanced at my window without thinking, and in that instant, I swore I saw a shadow move across the glass, though there was no one outside. I didn't sleep that night. When I confronted him the next day, he seemed almost annoyed. Why are you so scared? It's just information. The game knows things, that's all. More than Google, more than Facebook. It knows the truth. The truth about what? I asked. He smiled faintly, eyes unfocused. Everything. I felt like I was losing him in real time, watching him slip down a tunnel I couldn't follow. I tried calling his sister. She told me she hadn't seen him in days, that his room stank of sweat and burnt electronics. She asked me to talk sense into him, to make him leave his computer for once. So I did something desperate. I went over. His house was dark, blinds drawn. The air smelled stale, sour. When I knocked, he didn't answer. But through the door, I could hear the faint hum of that static, the one I'd heard over Discord. I let myself in. The living room was empty, silent except for the faint buzzing from his room. I called his name, heart hammering. No response. I pushed his door open. The glow of the monitor bathed the room in sickly light. The game was running, showing a distorted landscape that looked like a hybrid of his house and a digital wasteland. And Daniel was sitting there, headset on, face slack. His lips were moving, whispering words I couldn't hear. His eyes didn't blink. I shouted, grabbed his shoulder. He didn't flinch. He just kept whispering to the screen. On the monitor, a figure turned to face the camera. It wasn't an NPC. It wasn't a monster. It was Daniel. A perfect model of him, down to the scar on his eyebrow. But the model's mouth wasn't whispering. It was smiling. That was the night I knew. This wasn't just a cursed game file. It was something else. Something alive. And it wasn't just playing with him anymore. It was playing with both of us. The night everything truly went off the rails, I wasn't even supposed to be home. My plan was to hit a late movie, crash at a friend's place, and forget about Daniel for a while. But something kept gnawing at me, this cold knot in my stomach that wouldn't let me relax. By the time I bailed on the movie, my phone was already buzzing with notifications. Daniel had been streaming again. Except this time, he wasn't sending me clips. He was broadcasting directly into our group chat, as if he wanted everyone to see. Only nobody else joined, just me. I clicked the link. The feed opened to his room, lit only by that sickly glow from the monitor. He wasn't in his chair. The game was running by itself, camera panning smoothly through a warped version of his house. Every door, every wall, twisted like it was melting in real time. I typed in chat, "Where are you?" A few seconds later, the in-game camera stopped in front of the digital model of his bedroom door. Slowly, it swung open. On the other side wasn't his room. It was mine. My breath caught. The model was perfect. My posters, my desk, even the unwashed hoodie I'd tossed on my chair earlier. That's when my phone buzzed again. A DM from Daniel. One word. "Look," I shouted, grabbed his shoulder. He didn't flinch. He just kept whispering to the screen. On the monitor, a figure turned to face the camera. It wasn't an NPC. It wasn't a monster. It was Daniel, a perfect model of him, down to the scar on his eyebrow. But the model's mouth wasn't whispering. It was smiling. That was the night I knew. This wasn't just a cursed game file. It was something else. Something alive. And it wasn't just playing with him anymore. It was playing with both of us. The night everything truly went off the rails, I wasn't even supposed to be home. My plan was to hit a late movie, crash at a friend's place, and forget about Daniel for a while. But something kept gnawing at me, this cold knot in my stomach that wouldn't let me relax. By the time I bailed on the movie, my phone was already buzzing with notifications. Daniel had been streaming again. Except this time, he wasn't sending me clips. He was broadcasting directly into our group chat, as if he wanted everyone to see. Only nobody else joined, just me. I clicked the link. The feed opened to his room, lit only by that sickly glow from the monitor. He wasn't in his chair. The game was running by itself, camera panning smoothly through a warped version of his house. Every door, every wall, twisted like it was melting in real time. I typed in chat, "Where are you?" A few seconds later, the in-game camera stopped in front of the digital model of his bedroom door. Slowly, it swung open. On the other side wasn't his room. It was mine. My breath caught. The model was perfect. My posters, my desk, even the unwashed hoodie I'd tossed on my chair earlier. That's when my phone buzzed again. A DM from Daniel. One word. "Look,